housing is an issue here. The availability of affordable housing is a challenge for sure. And second is the labor force. We're getting older, and there's less of us, and then that ultimately, poses a challenge for employers to hire skilled workers and to find the right match between the things that we need to get done and the skills that are available right now. And so there's a lot of opportunities there for the future, but we need to kind of be more intentional about how we address some of these challenges when it comes to the labor force.
What are some ideas that you think could be implemented, whether it's at the local or the state level, to address those issues? Because housing over the last couple of years especially has been a big undertaking on Beacon Hill at the state level, and as well as the workforce. I feel like you hear about that all the time, even at the national level.
So the first thing I say is we at Merc, our policy is not we inform, we don't take policy views or sides on this, but obviously there's a lot of proposals that are floating out there, and in fact our next conference in May will deal exactly with this, with housing issues and potential solutions. What sort of things have we not thought about? Can we think a little bit outside the box in terms of how do we address these housing issues and ultimately the effect that this has on inflation and the very real effects on people's pocketbooks. So I think, we've been hearing, for example, things like the MBTA communities initiative that's going on right now. A lot of local communities are dealing with issues. So, do we designate specific parts of our communities to be more dense in order to increase affordable housing, or hopefully increase affordable housing? There's no guarantee there. What about commercial real estate that's sitting empty? Should that be maybe transformed into residential housing? There's a lot of ideas out there. Some have, all of them have their pluses and their minuses that we have to be careful with. But our role, I think, locally is to take all that information and try to, with the data that we have, try to hopefully inform the decision-making, policy-making.
Obviously, a lot of moving parts to all of that. You mentioned a lot of different facets, but is there any sort of general outlook that you might have for the rest of this year and beyond when it comes to the cost of living here regionally?
I think some of the structural things are there, and those are not going to go away anytime soon. The thing with inflation in general, I'm a macroeconomist, and the thing that we know about inflation is that it tends to be sticky. It's not something that just happens and then it goes away quickly. There's a lot of psychological aspects to this in terms of expectations to people. Sometimes inflation can be sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy. We think everything is expensive, and then we start charging higher wages, or businesses start to charge higher prices on their products, and then the cycle goes on and on and on. So the question is, how do we break that cycle? I don't think prices will go down again substantially. We have seen some prices come down, and the survey that we do at Merc shows that, but ultimately some of the big drivers of these price increases are still there. That are not going away anytime soon, which are housing, labor force limitations, and things of that sort. Yeah.